comprehensive video on how to properly install concrete board for tile flooring. So I just wanted to lay out everything you're going to need for the project and kind of give you a quick overview of what we use. What you're going to need is a thin set mortar, and this is going to go down on top of the subfloor directly below the concrete board. That's going to eliminate any voids in the flooring. The concrete board won't be able to move and eventually crack out your tile. To mix this, we use a bucket of clean water, a mixing bucket, and a bucket of water here that we set our drill and whip in so it doesn't dry out over the project. Over here is got all the tools laid out that you would need. Essentially, you're going to need a shop vac to make sure your subfloor is good and clean from debris. You're going to need a straight edge and a Sharpie to mark your concrete board, a tape measure, a face shield or safety glasses are very important. This is a speed square for making marks for square cuts. Basically, this is a little bit of overkill, but essentially you may have to drill some holes through your concrete board. So we got a corded drill with a mason bit, and then this is a Senko corded drill, and these are Senko screws. And this is really important because these are actually cement board screws, and they got the square tip heads, okay? If there's any question or you ask anybody, definitely don't want to use drywall screws. The chemicals in the mortar, they mix with the drywall screws, they corrode them. So you want to make sure you got a rated fastener and the proper tools, and it's going to make your project go a lot quicker. So the first thing we like to do is what's called dry fitting our concrete board in the room. So when it comes to concrete board, there's several different brands. You can use several different tools for cutting your concrete board. Probably the most painstaking manner of cutting it is with a utility knife. We've also got a multi-tool here, you know, that's got a diamond grit blade on it. And then we've got a grinder here with a diamond blade on it. So we're going to use the grinder. Just make sure that it's got all the protective devices on it. You're wearing protective gear. Grinders can be dangerous. So essentially, we already have this piece marked out. I'm just going to take a straight edge from my measurements, run a straight edge across. Like I say, you want to use a Sharpie. That's going to make sure you can see your cut line real well. And we'll get started. Okay, so basically what we did is we just scored through the concrete board when you're just trying to get one piece. You don't have to cut all the way through it. And essentially just rake it like that. And that's when this utility knife is going to come in handy. You got to cut through the mesh. And this piece is ready to be laid down. Okay, so mixing up your mortar, your thin set. Just going to run through that real quick. And you also want to check your manufacturer specifications. Every product's different. So we're going to go ahead and start mixing this mortar base. Okay. All right, so you want to get a good consistency with your mortar. This is a little too soupy. Best way to describe it is that you want it to look like a thick milkshake. All right, so that looks like a good mix. Like I said, you don't want it too soupy. You don't want it too thick either, or it'll be difficult to spread. And again, we don't want to cut any corners when we're laying down this underlay for tile. You want your floor to last for 20 years. So that's why, again, we're putting down the thin set. It goes on top of the subfloor, below your concrete board to fill the voids. I also want to mention that we got this mortar mix, and we need to let it set up for 5 minutes, come back, mix it again, and then we'll get ready to start applying it to the subfloor and laying down our concrete board. So we've got the concrete board dry fitted in on the floor. The mortar's mixed and ready to go. simply take a small prying tool, and we're going to start over here in this corner. You want to make sure that you shop back before you put your mortar base down. Make sure you get all debris. Sometimes that concrete board will crumble off and you'll have a little debris on the subfloor. Okay, so we've let our mortar set up for 5 minutes. I'm just going to mix it up again real quick. Okay, so getting ready to lay in a bed of mortar. You just need a trowel with a 1/4 inch tooth, and I'm using a mudding tool, and that's basically just to dip the mortar out. Makes it easy to get it on the floor. Just lay out a few piles. The mortar like this. Take your trowel, you just want to spread that out. Spread it out. Okay, so after you get a even bed of mud laid down, you want to make sure you know that we're just working one section at a time. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want the mortar to set up too quickly before you can get each panel screwed down. And it's good to keep a bucket of mud handy, or I'm sorry, a bucket of water handy, and that way you can keep your tools clean, keep your tools wet. That way mortar's not drying on your tools and causing you more problems. Okay, so now we're ready to lay our piece of concrete board down over the mortar. This product requires that the smooth side goes down. Also, it might take one or more guys to actually lay these into place because they're pretty heavy. Okay, so now it's time to start screwing down our panels. We want to go every 4 inches in squares. And I've been doing this long enough that I know where 4 inches is. But if you're not sure, you can take a chalk line, tape measure, mark it out, so that way you know you're hitting every 4 inches on the concrete board. We're going to use a Senko corded drill, and it's got 1.25 inch rated screws for concrete board with a square head. It's important that these heads are set into the concrete board to make sure that there's no flex later, you know, especially when the mortar dries. So you may have to come back with a cordless or something and make sure all the screw heads are set into the concrete board. So once all the concrete board's screwed down, what you're going to want to do, because not all rooms are square, not all concrete boards cut perfect, so there's going to be some gaps in your joints. And the whole goal is that we get this underlay for the tile as smooth as possible. So with just adhesive back mesh tape, what you're going to do is basically apply the tape along the joints, just like you would with drywall. You're going to take your bucket of mortar, and essentially you got a nice lid here. Keep it nice and moist in case that way it won't dry out. Basically, and just mud that on over your joints, just like you would drywall. And voila, the floor will be ready to lay tile in tomorrow. That concludes our video. I hope we covered everything for you thoroughly. Feel free to like the video, and thanks for watching.